Seja bem-vindo a mais um Conexão Nasdaq. Na semana passada, a gente fez um aprofundamento no conceito de índices. Você conferiu quais eram os principais tipos e como eles se complementavam. Nessa segunda parte, a gente vai um pouco além. Você vai conhecer as etapas para a criação dos índices e como investir efetivamente neles. Para nos ajudar com essas respostas, a gente volta a conversar com Sarah Mill, estrategista sênior de pesquisa de índices, profissional que atua na inteligência de investimentos de Nasdaq. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, great to be here.
It's a pleasure for us. So, from the beginning, how are indexes created?
So indexes use a systematic rules-based approach to come up with their basket of securities. Each index you can think of has its own recipe to come up with the desired dish that spell out the ingredients, the rules that you need to get to that final destination that you're looking for.
Shall we address each step? Let's begin with objective and purpose.
Objective and purpose is the first step in index design and creation. So this is setting the stage for determining the specific segment of the market that we want to target, and also what asset class maybe are we looking to represent and track. What dish are we making? This is really setting up that high level, again, objective and purpose.
Now, methodology design.
So these are those rules that are used for selecting and weighting securities within the index. So we can look at factors such as market capitalization, we can look at sector allocation, liquidity, and also rebalancing frequency. So making sure that, we're checking in on this index every so often. But the methodology and design is really those steps in our recipe that tell us exactly how to get to that final dish.
What about universe selection?
So within the methodology and within the methodology steps, it will define, the initial universe that we're looking to pull from to design our basket. So are we looking at maybe all the names listed on the Nasdaq composite? Are we looking at maybe all US listed stocks? Maybe we're looking at just an international universe. So this really sets the stage for what universe we're going to pull from based on those rules.
Now, eligibility criteria.
So within the chosen universe, we then apply the eligibility criteria that are defined to determine the end holdings for those names that are going to be included in the index. So these, again, are factors such as market capitalization, trading volume, financial stability, and listing status. But these, again, they're all going to be spelled out in that methodology document.
Let's talk also about weighting methodology.
So each index has, has its own, or it's spelled out the weighting methodology. And this really is telling us how much weight do we want to give to each holding. Do we want to have each stock within the index have, the same amount of weight that's equal weighted? So, they all have the same kind of force on the index's performance. Or do we want to give a higher weighting to those with larger market caps? So those are all defined in the methodology, but it's a really important step because the equal weighted index is very different from a market cap weighted index.
Sarah, it's also important to mention regular review and rebalancing.
Yep, and just as we're on a schedule, we need to make sure that we're going to review and rebalance our index, X amount of times per year. And this is all spelled out. This isn't something that, is just chosen randomly. It is all set. So some have an annual rebalance, like the Nasdaq 100 index, the reconstitution, or maybe there's semi-annual, so twice a year. Some are quarterly, some are even monthly. It all depends on, the end goal of the index and what was initially set up in those rules, but it is a strict schedule that is followed.
What about calculation and dissemination?
So index values are calculated based on the methodology using real-time or end-of-day data. And then this is how the data is going to get out to those market participants through those various channels, including like financial news. So when you see the Nasdaq composite or the Nasdaq 100 quoted, market data vendors, and online platforms.
Finally, monitoring and governance.
Yep. Index providers have dedicated teams responsible for monitoring the index's performance, making sure that we're adhering to the methodology, sticking to those rules, the rebalancing frequency. Robust governance really does ensure the accuracy and reliability of the index. And it's really important to make sure that we have strong governance in place to make sure that our index is sticking to that original methodology.
After all, how to invest in indexes?
So once an index is created using all of those steps, it cannot be directly invested in. I think that's a really important point to get across. You cannot buy or trade an index. What you can access are exchange traded products that follow these indexes, whether it's mutual funds, ETFs, again, exchange traded products. There are options or futures now, but these are the ways that you can access these various indexes as an investor. So really the main way, I would say, one of the most popular ways would be through ETFs and other exchange traded products.
Sarah, it's always great to learn with you. Thank you and see you.
Thank you.
Bom, na semana que vem tem mais edição do Conexão Nasdaq. Não perca.